So Microsoft seems to be all in on the like handheld market or whatever the case may be, and it's so weird to me because as an Xbox fan, I am a little bit, I guess, I don't want to say I'm upset, but it's a little bit concerning as an Xbox console owner and fan that Microsoft is really putting a lot of weight behind this PC handheld, right? Like, it's crazy because what's the top end that this PC handheld can do for Microsoft? Maybe 1 million, maybe 2 million, right? Like, it's not a lot, you know. And they have a console that is pushing 30 million, and I don't think they ever put this type of effort behind it, right? Like, even when it first came out, there wasn't like this big advertising push. Like, every tweet on X from Microsoft is about this thing, and it's crazy to see how this is kind of turning out. And I think what's more crazy is seeing how some people are just like dying to like get into this thing or whatever the case could be. So I don't know, it's really strange, but at the same time it is interesting to kind of just look at from just a perspective of where we're at as gamers, like, and I hope I want to get into that a little bit more, because I feel like this is certainly worth talking about, especially given how vested Microsoft seems to be in this right now. So it's just one of those things, and I'm very much kind of looking at this and saying, hey, this is strange behavior from Microsoft. But anyway, so you pay $1,000 for this thing, and then it's actually almost $1,100 by the time you pay tax on it. But the interesting thing is they're doing comparisons to this thing and the Nintendo Switch 2, which doesn't seem at first like it would be much of a fair fight, to be honest with you. But at the same time, the Switch is holding its own apparently against this thing. So for less than half the price, it's crazy. So the Nintendo Switch 2 holds its own quite well against the ROG Xbox Ally X, delivering generally better image quality than ASUS's handheld system thanks to NVIDIA DLSS. A new comparison video on YouTube compares the two handheld systems pretty much on every front, starting from general system performance before delving into deeper areas on how the two systems handle games such as demanding Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman World of Assassins, the Star Wars Outlaws, and undemanding games like Hollow Knight, Silksong. Basically, this, and I'm going to link this so you guys can check it out. They give like the comparison, installation, and restart time comparison, and they give battery life comparison, and like they give a lot of these things. Okay, so like Nintendo Switch 2 power on time 13.13 seconds, which is faster than the ROG Xbox Ally. Restart time 18 seconds versus almost 31 seconds. The Nintendo Switch is 18 seconds, and ROG Xbox Ally X is almost 31 seconds. Battery life comparison, Cyberpunk 2 is over 2 hours on Switch 2, and not even 2 hours on the ROG Ally. Let's see, you have, loading times. Hogwarts Legacy has a little bit of an edge on the ROG Ally X by a couple seconds. But anyway, the comparison video shows even more interesting results when it compares how the Nintendo Switch 2 and ROG Xbox Ally X run games. Regarding resolution, Nintendo Switch 2 leverages NVIDIA DLSS support to deliver impressive image quality, which the ROG Xbox Ally X doesn't match with AMD FSR in games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Hogwarts Legacy. In Star Wars Outlaws with NVIDIA DLSS, the Nintendo system delivers significantly cleaner image quality at dynamic 635p resolution against static 635 resolution of the Xbox Ally, especially for faraway elements whose detail are better resolved by the NVIDIA upscaler. Regarding graphics settings, the Nintendo Switch 2 delivers solid results. The system runs games at a rough equivalent of PC medium settings and does so convincingly, which is still impressive considering the hardware differences with the ROG Xbox Ally X. However, the Xbox ROG Ally X has a clear advantage in terms of performance, but not as much as one might have expected. In Hogwarts Legacy, for example, the performance differences are minimal, especially in the open world, where the Switch 2 sticks to its 30 frames per second cap, while the ROG Ally X only manages to run at 40 frames per second in turbo mode and barely higher than 30 in performance mode. In Star Wars Outlaw, the comparison is even more interesting as the ROG Ally X needs FSR in performance mode and frame generation to run in the ballpark of 30 at low settings, highlighting once again how good the Switch 2 port is. Despite some differences, the Nintendo Switch 2 and Ally X systems are both interesting handhelds to enjoy modern games on the go. For me anyway, it's interesting is that for these two things, right? And this is like, listen, Nintendo, like, there's news coming out that Nintendo is about to ramp up development of the Switch 2 and have 25 million units out by next March, right? 25 million, I mean, that is probably pretty close to where Xbox Series X and S are, maybe a little bit less, but in less than 1 year, they would have as many Switch 2s in the wild as Xbox had Series X's and S's combined in the wild. And this ROG Ally thing is such a strange thing because, like, I'm an Xbox fan, right? But the biggest problem is Microsoft doesn't really do a good job of promoting their things or believing in their things, and they're like, and the main thing is, they're still seeing, a lot of these people come out and make comments when they do, right? They're like, oh, well, here's what we're doing, here's what we're playing, or whatever the case may be. But for less than half the price, you get a more sleek, compact console that's going to play Nintendo exclusives, and there's no exclusives on the ASUS ROG thing or whatever it is, you know what I mean? And even if Game Pass were a reason to get something like that nowadays, I mean, honestly, it's just one of those things where we have this situation where Game Pass is even more expensive than things are worthwhile. So it's like you pay $1,100 for this thing, and then for the first year of Game Pass, you're paying almost another $400. So like $1,500. I mean, we are getting insanely expensive with these things, right? That's actually absolutely insane to see these types of things happen the way that they are. But yeah, it's like Microsoft is a little bit weird, and that's something that is kind of strange for me anyway. But I hope that people can kind of see what happens in the future with Microsoft, and maybe we'll see something where Microsoft can kind of like get behind their console again. But it's just so weird to me that like they're behind this thing, and yet it's just kind of strange because they never seem like they seem like they're behind this new thing that's not an Xbox more than they're behind their actual Xbox. And so to me, that is a bit of a problem, and I'm just not a fan of that thought process. It's just really kind of kind of disappointing. So again, maybe we'll see something different. Like Microsoft can do something, but it's like, here's the thing, right? An Xbox game came out today, right? You might not have noticed it, but a first-party Xbox game came out called Keeper from Double Fine. They did like Psychonauts 2, and they do some pretty interesting stuff. Not a bit of advertising for that anywhere that I've seen. Everything that I've seen, and the game has reviewed pretty well. I think it's like an 80 or something like that, which is pretty good. But we haven't seen a single bit of advertising for it, which is, I don't know, is it weird? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, we look at these things, what exactly can we kind of point to and say, is this something that that's just fit for how Microsoft is? It's like Microsoft is, they change at the drop of a hat, and it's frustrating, and they think they can leech off the Xbox name, but they don't realize that they've kind of ruined the Xbox name. You know, it's crazy, you know, how this kind of happens and how these things continually happen, you know, and I hope that we see something in the future that is positive for Xbox, but at this rate, it's like a positive thing for the actual Xbox console itself doesn't seem likely. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.